Hello, welcome to a new episode. In this one, we bring a special discussion with our friend Dr. Bhaskar Bora, a qualified medical doctor who used to work as a GP in the UK until a few years ago. We spoke following the recent publication of his book called The Second Chance in Life, which is based on real life events that significantly changed his world. We find out the story behind the book, the realizations and life lessons that Bhaskar had, and is now inspired to share those with others. Bhaskar, it's great to see you and a warm welcome to the Mental Wealth Mastery Show. So excited because this is a chat I've wanted to have with you for such a long time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gogoi. It's my honor to be on the show. I have heard so much about this show and also all the good work that you're doing. So it's a real pleasure talking to you and talking about all the various subjects that we plan to. And thank you for all the encouragement and the well wishes that you and for the book and the other stuff that I'm planning to do. So I feel very honored for this opportunity.
Can we start with the book? When did you actually get it published?
The book has been in circulation on Amazon worldwide, and so far it has sold around 400 copies, and there have been about 1,400 downloads on Kindle.
Wow.
So, yeah, so just baby steps.
Give us a summary of what this book is about and what led you to write this book in the first place.
So the book is based on my own experiences, life-changing experiences that I've had in the last 2.5 years or so, following a spinal cord injury, which led to permanent disability, as well as a diagnosis of cancer of the thyroid. So the main purpose behind this book is to pass the message of positivity to people who say that having a life-changing injury, or the fact that you end up losing everything that you've had, doesn't mean an end to life. You can take it as a stepping stone to start something new, to change an adversity into an opportunity with a positive outlook. So that's the whole purpose. I've also tried to put in the feelings of gratitude and appreciation into it, and also the kind of spirituality that I believe in, which I call as spirituality in daily life, rather than spirituality being a cliche. So, based on my own experiences and the kind of strategies I have tried myself to cope with these injuries and stuff. And I started initially putting on some posts on social media, and I had an overwhelming response, mainly from my ex-patients and also from lots of medical colleagues. And it was far beyond my expectations. And then lots of people then suggested that why don't I compile all this and why don't I actually go on to write a book. At that point in time, it seemed quite an impossible task because although I always thought that there was a story to write, but in order to write a 45,000 word book, I didn't think that I was up to it. But somehow when I started doing it, I think it just kind of flowed on. I did get help from an editor who was editing my work as we were going along,
Yeah.
and that kind of helped as well. I completed the whole project in about 5 months,
Wow.
which again was quite good, I suppose, because it's as a first-time author. But because I was writing about myself and I was just writing honestly about all my experiences uh, and all my reflections, so it just came about. It just flowed, I think. So that part was good. Now it's the promoting the book, because I'm trying to do that all organically and doing it by myself. That's quite a hard job. So I'm trying to learn as
Yeah.
I go along. There has been quite a good response. So I've got a website called the secondchanceinlife.com. I've recently set up a new website called drbora.com as well. So they're linked. So the website is set about 3 months before the book was launched, and I've been setting up some blog posts on there. I must say that lots of colleagues and lots of my ex-patients, they have helped in promoting the book within themselves. I think the best way is the word of mouth. So those people who have read the book, they've been really helpful, and there have been some miraculous people like you who have been really helpful. Uh, because you and many of the others who have read the book, they have found that it is something which can inspire people and it can change their perspective. So say they have been saying it to their friends and family. So it's a slow process, but I think there has been some positive results. Yeah.
From my side, the book is really special, and then the way you have laid out your experience of the last so many years, the narrative, the storytelling, the plot, it's amazing. And considering you are just a first-time author and you've done it in
Thank
five
you.
months' time, and that speaks volumes about how authentic this is.
As I said, some people who have I've never met or haven't known them in any way, so they have come up, they have heard about the book, they have known about my story, that sort of thing, and they have now said how reading the book or knowing about my story or reading my social media posts have changed their perspective on life, how it has impacted them. So there have been lots of examples which has been really heartwarming. I'm very grateful that I'm able to make that bit of impact. Even if I can inspire one more person with my story, that is still a big achievement. So that's what I'm trying to do. Lots of people, lots of authors do put in a lot of money to promote their book.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can't afford it at the moment, to be honest. So I have to take this way. But I suppose this, although it's slower and organic, but this, I suppose, is the best way that people like, rather than me putting on lots of money behind it to promote it.
I was curious to hear from Bhaskar what made him decide to write a book so openly about his recent life-changing experiences.
God has kindly given me a creative mind. So whether it's to do with painting or to writing poems or to writing just pieces of prose, that sort of thing, but it has always been a kind of scattered. And all these years been busy as a doctor and also kind of entrepreneur. So a lot of things became mechanical, and it almost became an obsession about family security and stuff like that. So I became a workaholic without really realizing it, even to the point of forgetting to appreciate life or the present and the way, well, I should have. It was only when this thing happened and I ended up in the hospital for months on end, and I had a lot of time lying in the bed in between my physio sessions and stuff like that, where I could think and where I could actually, in a way, maybe I was made to stop, just to kind of reflect on things. And as I started reflecting on things, and as I was penning some of those things down, um, then I kind of felt that yes, I can make these writings or my thoughts useful to others, not just for my own healing, but there are lots of people who are going through the same or probably even worse off than me. But not everyone has got the voice, or for some reason the circumstances won't allow them to write or express it in the
Yeah.
way. So I felt it almost like a duty as a responsibility to not only to heal myself but also heal some other people like me. So that's when the thought started. Said I started putting on some teasers of that on social media, and the response was quite encouraging, and that's when I thought that yeah, maybe I can do it, although it was quite daunting to initially think about 45,000 words, because it was only last year that I did the 15,000 word dissertation for my MBA, and that was a big task. So I thought 45,000 would be three dissertations.
Same thing came to my
But
mind.
thankfully, in here, you don't have to do your references and stuff. I was just writing what came to my mind.
Yes.
So, and then one of the other thing which I thought is, or I felt while writing, is that it helped me in structuring the reflections, because before that all my reflections were all over the place.
Mm.
So it was quite painful, it was quite traumatic to relive all those moments as to how the operation happened and how I ended up like this, or the diagnosis of cancer and all of that. uh, but it also was as a part of my healing process, and I'm sure as a psychiatrist you would understand that more than many other people. So it helped me in my own healing, it helped me in structuring the reflections, and as I kept writing on, I could process those things better, both in terms of acceptance and both in terms of kind of what to do next, how to make my life more useful.
A good point. And I wonder whether by doing that, by sitting down to write all of that experience and put it down on paper, whether it helped you distance yourself from some of that.
It definitely, it has definitely helped me. Yeah, it has definitely helped me, because I think it is one of the kind of strategies that lots of people
Mm.
employ, including myself. I did that, which is to escape the reality or being in denial.
Mm.
I have gone through that phase as well.
Mm.
Lots of people do. But you can't deny it
No.
forever, and you can't deny everything, because you would have to face your demons at some
Yeah.
point or another. And I think to move on to the next stage, you have to
Mm.
accept. Maybe being a doctor helped. Maybe dealing with patients with mental health problems as a GP, that kind of helped as well. Or maybe just reading all these books that I mentioned, or the audio books, that kind of also helped in terms of learning to deal with it, about the acceptance and
Mm.
commitment therapy and those sort of things.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really important, to come out of the denial and to accept that I have to now have a new normal.
Mm.
So there are certain things in life which I can't change, and there are certain things which I
Yes.
can. So it was very important for me to understand that, and to focus my energies on the things that I can change, because the past I can't change.
No.
There's no point in mourning about the past and waste my time. So I've also realized that time is very precious. So it is, as I have learned, that tomorrow is nostalgia. Sorry, yesterday is just nostalgia. It's just a memory. Tomorrow is a dream, but it's only the present that's real. So try to make the best of the reality that we have. And that's when I thought I have to make sure that I understand the normal, I understand the things that I can change within my power, and then start on this journey. So, and I'm just trying to take a few other people on this journey with me.
Mm. That's beautiful. Curious to hear from you whether you had this outlook about life always.
I have generally been a very optimistic person. Always had this, and I kind of learned from various life experiences, because this is not the first time that I've had to had this sort of experience. I had a similar sort of experience with my dad's stroke when he ended up with
Mm.
coma, and I, being the eldest son, the sky fell on my head, and I had to recover from that. I missed out on my postgraduate
Mm.
exams and
And
stuff
which you
like
have
that. So.
narrated quite beautifully in the book as
Uh,
well, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, so I have tried to put that in the book. I had to make a major decision in my life, whether to go ahead with my
Mm.
career or to try and keep my dad alive. And I'm glad I took the second decision, because although I fell behind in the career, I still managed to have my dad's blessings for another 21
Wow.
years. But generally, I have been a positive person, and it has always been my principle not to say no right at the beginning.
Mm.
Because if you say no to anything, including a bad thing, then you just close the doors. But if
Mm.
you say yes and you want to explore more, and then later on you decide you want to say no or yes. Now, of course, that has got its own disadvantages, because you end up creating more work for yourself and stuff. But it also gives you the
Yes.
opportunities. So whether it is in my business, whether it is in running the practices, or generally in life, I have always tried to say yes first, explore the options, and then go on to either accept that, or say no to it at a later point. Um, I have generally always thought that everybody can do one thing at a time.
Mm.
If you want to do something better in your life, then you need to do at least two things at a time. And that's what I've been trying to tell my children as well. So we can't master
No.
everything, but if we can kind of uh, be jack of lots of things and try and master at least one thing, that would be the most
Mm.
ideal thing. So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm trying to talk to other people as well.
I asked Bhaskar what the impact on his family was from what he has been through.
It has been very difficult. I can't deny that at all. It has been very difficult on the whole family. More so because I have been living the pain, or I've been getting this pain or my disability, so I can
Yeah.
understand it. But for them, the impact is far more because they can't really get the pain, but they still have to live through this
Mm.
pain. Um, we can't do small things now, which I used to do. I can't take out my dog. I can't walk my dogs. I can't cycle with my girls. I can't kick a football with my girls, or even, to be more personal, we because of my spinal cord injury, so nothing from the waist below works. So therefore, there's no real intimacy, physical intimacy, or anything
Mm.
like that as well. So in terms of our married relationship, so it has been difficult. So, but I must say that if it had not been for my daughters, for my wives, and also my mom, and especially my mother-in-law. If it hadn't been for them, and also for some very fine friends, I wouldn't have reached where I am now.
Mm.
So, been through a very, very tough time. So, in terms of where we are now, I think both me and my wife, I think our relationship has become more spiritual in a way, so, or let's say we've become more close
Mm.
friends than
Yeah.
husband and wife, in a way. My children still find it quite difficult because they sometimes, especially my younger one, she still asks, "Why do you have to oh, sorry. Why do you have to use
Mm.
crutches? Why can't you just walk like that? Yeah, why can't you come out with
Mm.
us?" That sort of thing. Um, so it's difficult for them. My elder daughter, sometimes she does tend to be in denial because she would rather, like, when I was in the hospital, she would really come to see me in the hospital just because she didn't want to see her father in that
Yeah.
particular way, where I was lying down on the bed, or not being able to walk. So different people have different strategies to cope, I believe. So, but I think given their age, and also the fact that if we had been in India with lots of family, the support system
Different.
would have been different. So here we are by ourselves, relying on our neighbors or our friends, and they have been brilliant. There have been lots of people that we don't know who have come out of nowhere to help. So, and I think this book is also a kind of way of showing gratitude to all these people who have who have come and helped in ways that I could not have imagined.
When you had that sort of fateful operation that caused the impairment, and you spoke in the book that
Hmm.
the person who carried out the surgery didn't come back to you when they were discovered, or hasn't been in contact with you since. But how did that make you feel?
I think that was quite disappointing. I'm still disappointed about that. I think the fact that the surgery didn't go as planned, or it created complications,
Yeah.
that can happen. Being a doctor, and yourself being a doctor, we would understand it more than anybody else. That things can go
Mm.
wrong, it can happen. Uh, there was obviously a delay in having the second operation, which led to the permanent disability. But what really hurt me was the fact that it just completely
Mm.
vanished. It just completely, if he would have come and faced me saying that it has gone wrong, but I'll try and do my best in terms of organizing the community physio for you or rehab for you or whatever sort of thing. But I just could not find him. And that is the bit which I think made me quite disappointed in the sense, because when the next few times when I was in the hospital, I was seen by some other doctor. Then thanks to my neighbor and my next door neighbor and a friend
Yeah.
who's a consultant hematologist in King's, so he got me in touch with
Mm.
Dr. Silva, who is a neurologist who then later on started looking after me. And he has been a godsend. He's been a blessing. He's the one who kind of got me into all this rehabilitation and stuff like that, and still treating me as a colleague more than as a patient. So, but without him, or if I just relied on the original
Mm.
surgeon, then I think as of today, I probably wouldn't been able to even stand up. So that
Yeah.
was difficult.
Yeah.
That was difficult. I don't hate him. I don't think I hate him, but I won't say that I would approve of such a situation.
Yeah. I mean, have you been able to follow that through?
No, I haven't put in any formal complaint because it would. I mean, I think if I had put this complaint to GMC, he'll probably be in a lot
Mm.
of trouble. So, being a doctor myself, I didn't want him to go through that. Finances are difficult, yes. So we'll have to see if anything can be done about my finances. But otherwise, I have just accepted that this is it was probably just a part of God's plan for me to go through this and maybe just answer my
Mm.
higher calling.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. He was probably just a vehicle or a pawn in the game.
Again, I mean, that speaks volumes about your nature, really. For another person, I suppose, going through that same experience would be probably I'd be quite angry.
I think I was angry as well. I was angry as well, but I probably was more
Mm.
angry at
Mm.
myself than anything else. But I have gone through all of these reactions of being angry, being frustrated, being in despair, asking the questions, why
Mm.
me, why now, that sort of thing, like we all go through. Somehow I have been able to come out of that now, maybe because I always believe that there is a reason behind everything, and so I just think, I mean, I still don't know what my future is. It all looks like a very foggy morning sort of thing where I can't really see where I'm going. But maybe through this book, maybe through my speeches or presentations or something will open up somewhere, and I will be able to find a way
Mm.
forward. And I think miracles happen every single day. So they may not be like big time miracles that you see in movies and stuff, but small miracles happen every day. It might be just a person that you're talking to, or it might be something that just happened. uh, but we often are not
Yeah.
receptive enough to
Yes.
those miracles, or we are not grateful enough. So I'm trying to make myself as receptive as possible to appreciate all those miracles, and they are happening. So I do hope that something will come out of all this. There must be a reason why I had this. There must be a reason why I wrote this book. There must be a reason why I'm having this interview with you. That sort of thing. So there must be something, some plan, some bigger plan somewhere.
Bhaskar also shared with us his current level of physical functioning and what he still struggles with.
So my biggest problem is sensory ataxia. So just for our non-medical viewers, I will just say that this is a condition where if I close my eyes, I can't really feel where I'm standing or what I'm touching with my legs. Whether I'm standing on grass or whether I'm standing on carpet or a hard floor, I can't do that. So I have to keep my eyes open and feel
Mm.
and look at them. I get lots of pins and needles. There's a lot of pain, we call it neuropathic pain, like electric shocks passing through my body all the time, for which I have to take numerous painkillers. But if I take all the painkillers as the doctors have suggested, then I end up being just a
Mm.
zombie. So I have to find a middle ground. Thankfully, I've been able to come out of all the
Okay.
opiates, was they were creating havoc in the system. Used to be only 70 kilos before my operation. Now you can see I am twice as much. So because of all the dexamethasone, all the steroid that I had been prescribed, so I've managed to stop that. Um, so my legs, they don't have enough power for me to walk without any aid. So I can
Mm.
walk a few steps with two crutches. It feels as if I am walking against a strong current of water. So somebody is pulling me behind. So it takes a lot of energy. So, but I can't really walk from one end of the superstore to the other, especially in the cold aisles, because that makes it worse. So I need a wheelchair for that sort of thing. Or if I have to go to a mall, I need a wheelchair. I wasn't able to drive for more than a year. Now I can drive an automatic car, but I can only drive for
Right.
short distances. So the most I can go is from here to my restaurant, which is about for
Okay.
half an hour. I can't use my three fingers on the right hand. So these three fingers, they don't work. So therefore, typing and all is quite difficult. I can't do touch typing anymore. There is a So both my legs and especially around
Mm.
these areas and these three fingers are extremely sensitive. So even if I touch my dog, just the dog's hair would pass
Gosh.
electric currents. Uh, so
Mm.
that is quite difficult. So I don't have any dexterity with my right hand in terms. So I do have the
Mm.
pincher grip, so I can do this, but I can't really make a
Yeah.
fist or
Yeah.
anything like that. So in terms of my emotional things, yes, I did go through a bit of depression, but that did not last for too long. So I'm okay from that point of view.
So you got those physical impairments, and you talked about, mentally you went through a short phase of being depressed, as you put it, and I read in your book that somebody came to your hospital room asking, or suggesting that you are depressed or you should be depressed in your state, and I said, no, I'm not depressed, and I don't need
Yeah,
therapy or something. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
yeah, that was interesting. I mean, I still have days when I go through depression, so I think it is underlying there. It just doesn't come to the fore, or I don't let it come to the fore all the time. But there are times when I do feel down. There are days. Um that particular incident was interesting because I was in Wellington Hospital, and it was probably the third week or something. I was assigned a clinical psychologist, and the clinical psychologist, he came because I was seen by lots of different people, from physiotherapists, occupational therapists, acupuncturists, psychotherapists, and all that. So the psychotherapist came in and she just said, "Oh, you're smiling." I said, "Yeah, I'm here to welcome you." So so she was like, "But are you not depressed?" I said, "No, I'm not depressed. Uh, should I be?" I said, "Yeah, you must be having the post-traumatic stress and all that. You're not depressed now. You probably think that you're not depressed now, but you will be." Thing. I said, "Yeah, maybe I will be." But at the moment, I
Mm.
don't think I am depressed. And then I mentioned about that I think I have been
Mm.
able to accept what has happened, and I'm now looking
Mm.
to move on to the next stage. And she was like, "Oh, you know about the ACT, the
Yeah.
acceptance and commitment thing." I said, "Yeah, I know a little bit uh, as a part of my medical training, so I know a little bit, and I have done a little bit of online counseling and stuff like that." So she was quite amazed, say, because I think most of the patients that she had been interacting with had not given her that response. And I was meant to have 7 sessions with her, but I only had two. So the first session was just talking about, and then the second session was less than 10 minutes. She just came to follow up to say that if I'm still in the same mood or if I'm depressed. So she said that. I'm fine, so she can let me go. So which was okay. Uh, but yeah, it is a difficult thing. I do get depressed when I see my wife,
Mm,
what she is going through, or sometimes when I'm not able to do simple things. So sometimes it does, but it does not
mm,
last for too
mm.
long.
And
What depresses me more is the fact that I don't have money to spend like I used to have before, and that is
mm.
quite difficult. So that is the bit which I struggle with the most.
Because of his health reasons, Bhaskar had to take early retirement from work. In his book, Bhaskar shares some financial wisdom about how good financial planning early on in his working life has really helped him in the current situation. Here he shares some of that advice.
I'd start by saying that as I mentioned before, that life does give you some cryptic clues, or you get some gut
Mm,
instincts. You just have to follow them. For some reason, I always had this thing that I need to make sure that I have enough insurance and stuff like that. So if something happens or if I die tomorrow, then my family would have enough to live by. And that is the reason. Back in 2006 itself, when I started earning money, then I started buying in lots of insurance policies, including life insurance, critical illness insurance, income protection insurance, and all sorts of things. To the point that I was
wow.
paying almost £700 a month to insurance. My friends were like, "What are you doing? You can go on a holiday with this amount of money." I said, "No, let me do it if I can, because it is when the sun is
Mm,
shining that you need to prepare for the rain." And that's what I did. At one point, I was earning pretty good amount of money, a monthly basis. I was running five practices with a turnover which I increased from 480,000 to almost 1.9 million. And the restaurant was another
mm, mm,
500,000 turnover per year. And then invested in real estate, because I again always thought that in order to stratify your risk, you should not put all your eggs in one basket. So started off investing in real estate and some stocks and shares. So again, there were people who came out from nowhere to help out or give advice. So bought a few houses which are on rent now, and they have appreciated quite a lot. So I have enough assets, and I have got enough insurance
mm,
for them to live by. What I don't have is the cash flow. And that's primarily because of two reasons. One is that we had to move a normal house where we were before to a more disabled friendly accommodation. So all the money that I got as a lump sum from my pension, because I had to take medical retirement because of my condition, and also from the critical illness payout, that money went towards the house. So I remember in 2018, when I was on a streak of buying houses, then the banks were offering loans, just take it from us, sort of thing. And then once I got retired, they don't even want to know me. So in order to buy this house, which was really needed because I was sleeping in the living room, and then we had to convert the garage into a bedroom in our previous house. So we needed to buy a house, and then I had to pay 50% mortgage. Otherwise, nobody wants to
mm,
bother about a retired person. That too with a history of cancer and everything. So we had to take out a mortgage at a much higher interest rate. But yeah, we got the house. There was really a kind of dream house. It's got downstairs bedrooms and downstairs bathroom sort of thing, with a walk-in shower. So
yeah.
all
Yeah.
the things that I would need to live for the
Yeah.
rest of my life, it has got it. So, but
Mm,
all the money went towards it. And then the restaurant, again, we had two partners before. So the partners, those two, they eventually left because they could not put in more money towards this, and COVID came. So it was quite difficult. So 15 months the restaurant was closed. Uh, so I had to put in almost 160,000 from my savings towards keeping the restaurant alive, because we still had to carry on paying the rent and all. Uh, And thankfully, the restaurant is still alive, and we are doing better now. So that's something which again I have learned as an entrepreneur, and I can say that we have been successful in saving the restaurant. But all the money went towards the
Yeah.
house and towards the towards saving the restaurant. So that's
Mm,
why the cash
mm,
flow situation is not good. But because of the
mm,
insurances that I had, so I get a bit
yeah.
of money from income protection, got a bit of payout from the critical illness and the pension, and then Millie works as well. So and we get some rent from the houses. So somehow we are managing. So
Mm,
if I didn't have those things, if I had listened to all those people saying that don't spend money on insurance or anything, then as of now we will
mm,
be in a lot worse state. So
mm,
I tell everyone that you need to prepare for the rainy days when things are going better. So again, in the book, it's not all about spirituality or coming out from this. I've actually put in some of the practical strategies that I have done myself, that I have used myself, and I can say that they have been successful. So, in terms of entrepreneurship or investments or life management sort of thing, so I've tried to put in that so people can find them useful. Everybody says, "Oh, the money is not important. You should not run after money. This, that." But money is important. If it's not for you, it's for your family. It is important. So there's no denying that fact. It is important to be ethical about it, definitely. But I think it is important to have enough money to sustain you. Otherwise, you can't. So it's I think it's all pseudo spiritualism when people talk about money is not important, material gains are not important. Everybody likes to keep their head held high. If you can hold your head high in a bigger house, it's easier,
I
isn't it?
like that.
That so, but there has to be that balance
Yeah.
as well. So as you said about the inner growth, about the
Yes.
spiritual
Yes.
growth,
And I
about
believe,
the appreciation of what we have.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. It's not,
both of that.
yeah, it's not pitting one against the other, really. That the spiritual world is not against the physical world, and there's no one or the other. It's one and the same. And I think the book highlights those elements of our existence in a very beautiful way. The importance of acceptance, like it all started with acceptance in your case, coming out from that really life-changing
Yeah.
experience, and something that most of us think, oh, it's not going to happen to me, it happens to others. In terms of where next, I mean, you've got the book and I'm sure it will do great. You do blog posts and you've got a website, and you've got so many different creative interests.
In terms of what next, so my aim is to try and spread my reflections as much as possible, both in terms of a book, the poem. I also do some painting, so through the paintings, but mostly by motivational speaking. So I hope I have been speaking at some small events and stuff like that, but I hope that is something which will grow. I hope people will find me worthy enough to be invited to share these talks and being interviewed for various purposes, both in the corporate as well as within the disability arena and all that. So I want to be the voice for the disabled. So
Yes.
people with disabilities, whether seen or unseen. So if I can do that,
Mhm.
I think that would serve my purpose. Also want to give out the message that life stopping is not,
Mhm.
or life changing is
Mhm.
not life stopping. You can still There are still other ways to live your life and make the most of it. So that's what I want to do. So become a full-time motivational speaker. So I have got a few assignments within the next few days, and I'm looking for more. I have got three writing projects that's going on at the moment. So one is a compilation of poems, which is something I'm co-authoring with a classmate of mine. So that's going to be called Straight from the Heart. So it's a compilation of 100 poems. Although I still need to find out who is going to read poetry in today's day. So, but hopefully, some people will. Um, I still have a lot of work to do with the current book, and then there are two very good, very touching stories that has come to me, or people actually who have got in touch with me
Wow.
after reading the book because they want me to write their story. And one is about someone who has gone through sexual abuse and then had coma because of domestic violence and that sort of thing. So which I've just started writing. And the other one is someone who basically married the person that she fell in love with in school days, and then eventually found out that her husband has
Wow.
been two-timing her or cheating on her all this time. And then, in order to kind of retaliate or take revenge,
Got
she then ends up having an
very interesting
extramarital
talk.
affair
Yeah.
with someone else. So, we're two very interesting stories. So one, I'm hoping to name it as the journey to winning, which is the first story about the sexual abuse, because that lady is doing quite well now. And the other
Wow.
one, I'm hoping it will be called The Moon Behind the Clouds. So let's see. So lots of ambitions, but hopefully my health will allow me to complete this, and also do this motivational speaking. So learning something new every day.
If somebody wants to find out more about your work, where do they go?
So the book is available on Amazon. It's called The Second Chance in Life. So
Yeah.
if somebody types it on Amazon, they will find it. It is available on, thank you. It's available on all the formats, in whichever format they want to read or listen to the book. Also available through my own website, drbora.com, which is my name. So Bhaskar Bora. You will also find me on Facebook, on Instagram, and on LinkedIn as well. So you'll find some of my posts or links to the book there. I'm available on Facebook Messenger if somebody wants me to contact that way, on Instagram Messenger. And if I could be of any help to anyone, I would feel very useful and honored.
So we've got to the end of our discussion, Bhaskar. I'm so very grateful that you spent this really valuable hour with me. So this book has been really special for me, and I've been sharing this book, really confident this is going to go on to touch so many more lives. So carry on doing the good work.
Thank you so much. I mean, coming from a renowned psychiatrist and a good person that you are, that I know, so it means a lot. So thank you very much. So yeah, if I can inspire any person, if I could help any of your patients in any way, and just the very fact that you have found it worthwhile to share with other people, it means a lot. So thank you so much for having me. It's been, as always, it's been wonderful talking with you. Learning something new every day. I look forward to more help from you and more guidance from you in the future.
No, thank you. And I wish you well. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.